past few videos, we've gone back and looked at some cartoons that I grew up watching that were more forgotten. Today, we're spicing things up a bit and taking a look at a network I would watch on occasion, but very rarely. PBS Kids. For those who don't know, the Public Broadcast Service, or PBS, was one of the very first television channels. In the 90s, PBS created PBS Kids, a network aimed at children that would air very PG, mainly educational content. The nice thing about PBS Kids was that you didn't need cable to watch it. Not everyone had cable growing up, so most children, whether you had it or not, experienced PBS Kids. What makes this video a little different than my previous ones is that I didn't grow up on PBS Kids. I would watch a handful of shows every now and then, but my roots were always in Cartoon Network, Disney Channel, and Nickelodeon. Now, that being said, the shows we're about to talk about today, I did watch and have fond memories. All but one.
My best friend is Cordy, the bright-eyed dancing bear. My best friend is Cordy.
Based on the children's book of the same name, Corduroy follows the life of the titular teddy bear as he lives his life now having a child to love him. I had no idea the show existed until doing research for this video. I usually tend to stay away from talking about shows I didn't watch, but as a big fan of the book, I felt I needed to watch the show and experience it for the first time. And,
Look how they mess with my boy.
the show is really strange. The episode I watched starts with Corduroy really depressed because Lisa, his kid, is going to school and can't play with him. So he paints a son crying. Damn, Corduroy's a bitch. Lisa then tells Corduroy to not be blue because it's a perfect day out. Like, how is that going to make him feel any better when the reason he's sad is because he's cooped up in your room all day? He then learns about the mailman and wants a special delivery. So Lisa writes him a letter before going to school, but he doesn't know that it's from her. He then writes her a letter back and tries to mail it, and that's when the shenanigans occur. It's pretty standard children's entertainment, but I just really don't like this show. The voice acting is pretty egregiously bad.
Stay and paint with me, Lisa?
I have school today.
Don't you want to play with me?
And the music is, I don't even know how to describe it. Bizarre. It's way too loud and doesn't ever fit the vibe of what's going on. The point of background music is to be a supplementary piece. It's supposed to influence and tell the audience how they should feel about a certain scene or character. When used well, it can even take over the role of dialogue. Corduroy might have some of the worst use of background music. Look at this.
Don't you like hearing about what I've learned in school?
I guess.
And Buckaroo and Rosetta are here, so you won't feel lonely.
I guess. But I still really miss you when you're gone.
We get that Corduroy's sad Lisa's going to school, but she's not leaving forever, and she's actually trying to cheer him up. So what's with the somber-ass piano? If there was no dialogue and just music, I would think that someone died. It really feels like the audio engineer just had the preset Adobe soundtrack and picked the first one that fit the vibe they were going for, whether it fits the show or not. Corduroy only lasted one season, running for 13 episodes, and I can't say I'm too shocked. We know that with Toy Story, that the Toys to Life concept has a lot of merit, but Corduroy was simply not good.
It's not rain. The sun's sad.
And he wished on a dragon scale, and that's what started Dragon Tales. Around the room the dragons flew, but Emmy and Max knew what to do. They climbed on the backs of the dragon friends. Now the adventures never end. Dragon Tales, it's almost time for Dragon Tales. Come along, take my hand, let's all go to Dragonland. Dragon Tales, it's almost time for Dragon Tales. Come along, take my hand, let's all go to Dragonland.
God, that theme song still slaps. Let's hear it again.
Dragon Tales, it's almost time for Dragon Tales.
I'm just playing. The story follows a brother and sister, Max and Emmy, not to be confused with Max and Ruby, who stumble upon a dragon scale in their new house. Emmy reads the inscription, and they get teleported to Dragonland. In Dragonland, they meet Cassie, Ord, and the conjoined twins Zach and Wheezy. In later seasons, they add Enrique to help teach kids more about Hispanic culture. That's actually one of the main themes of the show. There are many instances where the kids teach the audience Spanish words.
Los pollitos dicen fío, 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 cuando tienen hambre, cuando tienen frío.
The show teaches kids very general messages like be nice and share. And I have no real issues with that, but when your entire show is about dragons, it feels like they could have done more fantastical things with it. One thing I really didn't remember about the show were the characters' voices. I understand that this is a kid's show, and by the way, something I probably should have specified earlier is that these shows are aimed towards preschool-aged kids, while a lot of the other shows we've discussed are more elementary school. Anyway, I understand that this is a kid's show from the 90s, but man, are the voices really grating.
That looks fun.
Ty Olsson, who plays Ord, sounds like he's doing a really bad Barney impression.
Oh, hi there. I'm so glad to see you.
I gotta find it. It's my first tooth and it just fell out.
That's actually something I should probably talk about. Barney the Dinosaur was a massive hit. And I get the impression that PBS saw the success of Barney and wanted to replicate it in a cartoon fashion. So instead of dinosaurs, the main characters are dragons. In terms of the other dragons, Zack and Wheezy are pretty interesting, being polar opposites who are conjoined together. There's actually an episode where they split. This is a masterpiece of a video. Thank you, Dr. Blood Studios. Oh shit, there's another one? I feel like these could have just been Instagram posts. Why? What do I think about this picture? I hate it. Who likes sausage, egg, and French toast for breakfast? Someday Willie and Brenda will get married? I think I've stumbled upon a gold mine here. And I know exactly who would love this. Okay, so let me send you the link. Okay. You need to open it and like scroll through what I'm sending you. I want to get your reaction. Oh my gosh. Let me make sure that it's recording. Yeah, I think it is.
Okay. Okay, this is a YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Where do I go to?
It's just like click on his channel.
Yeah.
And just like scroll down to the videos.
Okay.
Just like look at the videos.
They're all like 6 seconds.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, wait, what is this?
Yeah. Have you gone to what do you think about this picture 5?
Picture 5?
It's from 9 days ago.
5 days ago. The Eminem one?
No. Oh, wait, I think you scrolled. I mean, where is the Eminem one? I know. Oh, no. It's a little bit past that. 9 days ago, not 5 days ago.
9 days ago. Oh my gosh.
keep scrolling. 2 weeks ago, there's one called Someday Willie and Brenda Will Get Married.
Oh my god.
I found this while writing the script for this video.
Wait, what even are these?
I was looking for a very specific scene from Dragon Tales. And I somehow stumbled upon this. And I've been laughing at it all day.
This is so weird, and they don't even, it's just a photo on each.
I know. Are you allowed to see the about section on, I assume you're on mobile?
Uh-huh.
The about section is crazy also.
My wife, Anya, my daughter, my parents, my sisters, my brothers,
my nephew, Snooky, and Wookums. I know.
my friends, my parents, gender male. If you are underage, you are not welcome here. If you're sexually oh my god.
Alright, This is my friend Vanessa. On top of having over 100,000 followers on TikTok with multiple videos over 1 million views. Every day, she sends me the most grotesque and bizarre Instagram reels and TikToks. Like, what is this?
Please don't leave, Daddy.
Oh, princess, I would never leave you, but Daddy has to go.
While I have you, are there any shows you want to talk about?
Fetch with Ruff Ruffman, the PBS Kids show about an animated dog who's the host of a reality game show. Each season had 6 contestants who would be put up to challenges and get points. At the end of each season, there would be a finale, and they would award the winner of that season. Okay, now let me tell you, this was my shit. I tried everything to get onto the show. I had dreams of getting on the show and crushing it. I would spend hours on my computer trying to find out how to get on the show, and I'd be forcing my mother to look up how to get me on the show. I also wanted to get on it because I had a questionable crush on the animated dog. And I thought if he saw me, well, then he would have some form of a crush on me. And before you all judge me, we all had questionable crushes as kids. One of my more normal crushes was on Khalil, who was on season 1. I thought he was such a cutie. The host also had the sassiest assistant ever, Blossom. Now, I liked Blossom a lot. I loved when she was on the screen, and I just thought she was such a baddie. And honestly, looking back at it now, I most definitely had a crush on her as well. This show always had me crying of laughter, especially anytime Ruff just said any old thing. And honestly, now looking back at it, it's still such a hilarious show. And I don't know why they don't still make shows like this anymore, because I genuinely started rewatching this show and felt like I was just watching any other show.
I don't believe in that stuff. Zoinks! Oh, wait, am I allowed to say that?
One episode that I have such a core memory of watching is when all the contestants had to make a music video to one of Aaron Carter's songs with their grandparents. Rest in peace, Aaron Carter. Thank you for making the biggest hit ever. Saturday night.
Tonight is the night, feeling right, smell a party.
In each episode, they'd have the halftime quiz show, which is basically where all the contestants who didn't get picked to go on a challenge have to do a trivia based on what they've seen in the challenge so far. And when I tell you that I would go ham on this, oh my gosh. I'd answer the questions like I was on the show, and I would scream at my laptop. I'd be like, the answer is 3, the answer is 3. And when they got it wrong, I would get pissed as if I was on the show and I lost points because of them. At the end of each episode, the person who had the most points from the challenges would win a prize. And I would get so jealous of these prizes. Like, they had really, really good prizes. Like, they had movie passes, they'd have fun snacks. Like, one time they won astronaut ice cream. I was like, I'm so pissed off right now that they get to enjoy astronaut ice cream and I can't right now. One thing that I really liked about the show is how they incorporated animation with live action segments. In fact, that's something a lot of PBS Kids shows did. Curious George would show children going on like field trips. Cyber Chase would have Harry and Bianca acting out skits. And Postcards from Buster was a show adapted from Arthur, where the main character was Buster and he would explore different parts of the world and you would see it from a real life point of view. One episode I really wanted to go on was a Halloween episode in season 5 where they're all at this haunted mansion and they have to find out who the culprit is. It was either the butler, the cook, the gardener. Now, if I had been on this show, I would have figured out the culprit in 2 seconds flat. Like at the beginning, I knew it was the butler. He was so smug the entire time. How did the others not catch on to that? It wouldn't have taken them the entire episode if I could have just been on it. Now, there is one episode that I certainly did not want to go on. It was on the first season where they had all the contestants live as if they were in the colonial time. And they had to make their own beds. Like, they had to literally take a fabric and stuff it with hay. They had no electricity. They had to do hard labor and pick up poop. Yeah, I'd pass on that one.
So that's my life as a pop star. Bye!
Now look, I'm secure enough with my masculinity to admit that I watched a fair bit of the show as a child. However, I would also be lying if I said it was my decision. Growing up, my sister loved these books, along with Olivia the Pig. Wait, that's a show they should have made. Hold up, did they? Oh my god, even I forgot about this show. Should I make a video on this? Anyway, Angelina Ballerina was a staple book series in my household, and the show was no exception. It follows a young mouse named Angelina who practices ballet. The show is quite entertaining, honestly. It still teaches important life lessons without being overly preachy like Dragon Tales was.
Just have to tell yourself you can do it, even if you are afraid.
One thing that I really adored about this show is the voice acting. Whether it's due to budgetary reasons, technology at the time, or simply just not caring, for whatever reason, it seems like most children's shows have bad voice acting. That's not something I can say about Angelina Ballerina. As a kid, I always liked Miss Lily's voice, learning now that she's voiced by Dame Judi Dench.
I have wonderful news. As you know, the famous Madame Zizi has returned to the Theatre Royal in The Sun Queen.
But everyone's voices are really pleasant, despite being British. The art style follows the books pretty closely, and because of that, I feel like it still holds up 23 years later. The show looks and sounds great. That's not something I can say about modern Angelina.
Brother,
I had no idea this even existed until 30 seconds ago. They switched the cute book art style to a very clearly 2010 3D style. This looks exactly like Robot and Monster. None of the original cast returned either, and the new cast isn't awful, but there's a certain charm the original had. When the characters were eating, it really sounded like the actors were too.
When Madame Zizi sees how good you are, she's bound to make room for another sunbeam.
Not to go on one of my classic tangents, but there really is something special lost when turning 2D characters into 3D. Look at the latest South Park game, or the latest SpongeBob movie, although that movie has its own problems.
Wow, Texas sure is magical.
I'm gonna end right here because I think I can make a whole video on the subject. Angelina Ballerina surprised me with how good it was. As fun as it is to make fun of bad shows, it's equally as important to prop up the good ones. Anyway, here's another bad one. Created in 2003 by the same creators as the Teletubbies, Booba is a British children's show designed to teach kids how to better their gross motor skills. Emphasis on gross. Ew. I'm gonna come out and say it. The Booba look like uncircumcised penises. They do. And now you can't unsee it. These things are fucking weird, dude. They fart every time they move, and they don't talk. Instead, they let out a high-pitched squeak, and they have the most uncanny movements. Also, the name Booba, come on. They must have known what they were doing. You don't make a show for kids called Booba and not expect me to laugh every single time I say the name. As a kid, I actually had a toy of the pink one, Jingba, and the body was soft, but the head was hard. Yeah, I heard it. But me and my siblings would always chuck it at each other, and I think we accidentally broke one of my mom's picture frames once. Sorry, Mom. I'm actually breaking a few rules by talking about Booba. For one, it's not a cartoon. Not that I'm so restricted to that, but it has been the primary focus of my channel so far. But also, the show isn't even technically PBS. Now, before you come at me with pitchforks, in my defense, it's on the official list of PBS kids shows, and it was on PBS. Plus, once I remembered the show existed, I couldn't not talk about it. I mean, come on.
Zumba! Zing, zing, zingba!
Guys, you're not doing any favors with the penis department. This show has to have been created on an acid trip. Like, what could possibly be running through your mind when creating this show? The show's actually cut up into two segments. You have the Booba running around like fat, chode-looking Power Rangers, and you have the segments with real people doing some sort of physical activity. Now, this may be in contention for the worst show of all time, but I'd be lying if I didn't say I had the time of my life in watching it. Oh my god. It's so ironically hysterical. I implore everyone watching to pause this video and go watch an episode of Booba. I promise you will not regret it. You back? Isn't it amazing? I'd just like to imagine every single piece of art and literature gets erased, and the only thing aliens can find is Booba. I hope you had a fun time looking back at PBS Kids with me and Vanessa. I didn't really watch much PBS growing up, so it was a unique experience rewatching shows that I've only seen a handful of episodes from. Let me know in the comments if you ever watched one of these shows growing up, or if there are any shows that I missed. If you're looking for more things to watch, I have a video on pretty much all the major kids networks at this point. I'll see you guys in a later video. Peace.
So that was my scare. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I wish good luck to everybody, and I hope I get on 7 Bye!